welcome back, beautiful souls, to Reset and Rise Midlife. I'm your host, Coach Sabrina Woods, and today I'm inviting you to a sacred space. A space for the woman who's exhausted from pretending, for the woman who survived more than anyone else really knows. And this episode isn't about fixing you. You're not broken. It's about unlearning the lies that you were told. This is for the woman who's ready to rise, trembling, unsure, but still rising. You see, we are taught to hustle for our worth, to perform strength while hiding our softness. But the truth, real strength is tender. It's quiet. It's the voice that says, I see you when no one else is looking. Acceptance is that voice. We don't get to peace by beating ourselves into submission. We get there by wrapping our pain in compassion and saying, you did the best you could, and now we get to do better. Not because you were bad, not because of you made mistakes, but because now you're free. When I launched my coaching business, I felt like I was standing in a storm with no umbrella. Everyone around me had an opinion. Do this, say that, don't tell your full story, brand yourself this way. My heart was screaming, but I silenced her to keep the peace. And to be honest, all I wanted to do was be authentic to who I was. I didn't want to sugarcoat, and I wanted to be real, to talk about the things that we don't talk about. And to be honest, I cried on the bathroom floor more times than I can count. Not because I didn't believe in my mission, but because I was terrified of being seen and still not being enough. That season taught me this. When you build something from the wreckage of who you used to be, you still have to fight the urge to shrink back into the old armor. I had to relearn how to trust my voice, the voice that built this business, and that voice that saved me. Fear is a powerful force, but it doesn't have to control us. Fear isn't always physical danger. Sometimes it's about rejection, self-doubt, or the anxiety of stepping into the unknown. And often, fear masks itself as logic, as caution. But at its root, fear is the voice trying to keep you safe based on past pain. The problem is that voice doesn't know the future that you envision, the future that you're trying to create. It only knows what you've already survived. And our brains are hardwired for survival. The amygdala, our brain's fear center, reacts quickly to perceived danger, right? But here's the thing. It can't distinguish between real danger and emotional risk. It doesn't know the difference between running from a bear and hitting post on your first vulnerable blog. And that's why so many of us stay stuck, because fear convinces us we'll die of embarrassment, rejection, or failure. But we won't. The more we act in spite of fear, the more we retrain our nervous system to understand that we are safe. And so often, fear wears this mask of self-doubt. I'm not ready. I'm going to wait for the perfect time. I'm not enough. Who do you think I am? Does any of this sound familiar? These aren't just thoughts. They are mental habits formed from past programming. That boss who criticized you in front of everyone, the teacher who humiliated you, the parent who couldn't love you out loud. All of those moments shaped a fear-based identity. But just because you learned it doesn't mean we have to keep living it. Avoidance reinforces fear. Actions weaken it. And every small step matters, even the micro actions. Maybe it's introducing yourself differently. Maybe it's signing up for a course. Maybe it's writing that letter. It could be having one honest conversation. You see, fear shrinks when we move, and confidence isn't absent of fear. It's the willingness to feel it and act anyway. I've walked beside women who've been terrified to leave toxic relationships. I watched them rise into wholeness. I watched women change careers at 50. Women who started businesses after they were told that they would never be nothing and they had nothing to offer this world. They didn't wait for that fear to go away. They just decided to stop giving it the microphone and they built the lives that they love. You see, whenever there's fear, oftentimes we don't recognize it. We can't see it. But many of us provoke self-awareness. And in order to provoke self-awareness, we got to understand what we're working on, right? So we need to name our fears. What am I really afraid of? Reframe that fear into an action-based positive. This fear means I am growing. And then move away. Sounds real simple, right? In actuality, fear subsides with action. One small action, one step, or one new choice. And oftentimes, it's that biggest, most boldest chance that we take. You see, midlife is not the beginning of the end. It's the end of hiding. I don't know about you, but I survived the first half of my life by a thread. I survived the trauma. I survived the proving. Now we're in the time to where we get to create rest. This is where our reinvention happens. It's where you stop asking for permission and it's where you start building something sacred. Not from the pain, but from purpose. So I want you to close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. What thought do I repeat that keeps me small? Be honest and write down the first thought that comes to mind. Then I want you to look at that thought on paper. And I want you to ask yourself, whose voice is that? Whose expectations are you carrying like they're your own? Now I want you to write underneath of it, that's not mine. I returned it to sender. Send that thought, send that fear, send that limited belief, that self-doubt, back to its original owner. I want to leave you today. As every episode, I like to give a little bit of homework or exercises around the episode. So today, at some point, I would like you to grab some pen and a piece of paper, your diary, your app note, and I want you to do 3 things for me. For yourself. Write a letter to your younger self, but I want you to specifically begin with, you were never the problem. And I want you to finish that letter with all of your heart, with all of your truth, and I want you to then write a letter to the woman you are becoming. But I want you to begin this one. Thank you for not giving up on me. And I want you to tell that woman, thank you. Now you've taken me to this point, and I appreciate you. I love you. But I got this from here. Rest. And for the next 7 days, when you wake up in the morning, get yourself a little sticky note if you don't already have a little sticky notepad. And I want you to write, I am not surviving anymore. I am creating something sacred. And I want you to hang that up everywhere you will look in the morning time. You have to reprogram your nervous system to know that you are safe. So remember, for the next 7 days, every morning when you wake up, you say and you repeat it. You can say it like an incantation. You know how I am about the incantations. When we say it with movements, our body, and our voice, we reprogram our nervous system to believe. And you want to believe that you are not surviving anymore, that you are creating something sacred. And because I am so into incantations, I would like to leave you with a few. Today, I will leave the exercises and the incantations for this episode in the episode overview, and it will also be posted in my podcast support group. First, and I want you to say these incantations like you mean them. Say it with your body. Get in your fighting position and say, I forgive myself of the version of me that didn't know better. I accept my journey, even the parts that hurt. I am not a burden. I am a blessing. I am not too late. I am right on time. That's right, ladies. We are not too late. We are right on time. And this last one, I remember repeating this over and over to myself constantly. I often still repeat this one. I trust myself when I'm scared. We all get scared. We all have fears. And that's why our support system and our toolbox is so important to us in this phase of our lives. So I want you to know that you were born into a world that asked you to hide, to conform, and to survive. But you made it to this moment, to this spot in your life, and you've been peeling off the layers. You faced the dark, and you've asked those hard questions. Now it's time to choose you on purpose, with tenderness and with fire. Light that fire that you will trust yourself even when you're scared. Let them call it too much. Let them say you've changed. You have. And the truth is, you're not here to fit in. You're here to rise. We were all created uniquely. We are all created to rise. So I want to thank you for sitting with this truth. And if today cracks something, even the smallest micro open for you, let it stay open. Let it breathe. You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to need support. And you're allowed to rise without an apology. If this spoke to you, share it with another lady that's on the edge of her breakthrough. And if you're ready to go deeper, come join me inside my Passion and Purpose Midlife Coaching Program. We're healing, we're rising together.